Will Cam Schlittler silence the Cardinals tonight in the Bronx? Will the Dodgers bounce back off a weekend sweep against the Red Sox and dominate the Cubs at Wrigley tonight in Chicago? Find out now on MLB Bases Loaded. A huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. Two questions posed, answers to be found. It is Monday, August the 3rd, 2026. MLB Bases Loaded. I'm the Shark. He is Mikey Money. Mike, what's going on this morning?
Busy, man. I've been grinding, dude. I got up. I wasted a whole bunch of time. And, man, I'll tell you what, it's 12:18 Eastern. But, fuck, I've been sitting backstage since about 11 a.m. trying to make this shit work. So here we are today. We're back, and we're ready to attack, though. Look, Sports Money Network is where you're going to find the best capping on the planet. And, it's a tough day today, Shark. It is trade deadline day. So lots of things happening, you guys. More important than ever, 6 p.m. Eastern is the deadline. We've seen a flurry of movement. The Dodgers won the Scooble sweepstakes. I can't believe it's legal, but they've deferred like $5 billion of salary. Crazy enough, the Toronto Blue Jays send Gausman to the Cubs. Imagine a windy, blowing out day with Gausman on the bump for the Cubs. I mean, think about it. They're scheduling these guys in rotation 7-10 days in advance. They're not going to know if the wind's blowing out on Thursday, and that's a Gausman start day. So we could see some massive overs in those games. And look, we see Louis Arise. We see Brooks Raleigh going to the Phillies. The Mets made a couple of moves out there to help strengthen the Phillies' cause. So lots more coming down the deadline pike here. But pay attention, you guys. It is super duper important that you stay on point with what's happening here. Short on graphics, Shark, but we're good on information, so let's get after it.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about really just a big day in baseball. The trade deadline is one of the most exciting days. I remember going back to when I was a kid. You're really waiting around to see who's moving around, and you're talking about some of these moves. We will discuss those as we talk these games. Of course, only 8 games on the card today. I think that is intentional, obviously. The league, to a certain degree, letting teams travel and do what they're going to do. But what are we going to do? We're going to talk some baseball. If you guys are in the chat here, it is lunch hour on the East Coast. It is the first Monday of August. And if you guys are on the West Coast, I have some fire coffee here. Get your coffee and get ready to dominate. It is a suddenly not so casual Monday, August the 3rd, 2026. Mike, let's get down to business. First game of the card. No matinees this afternoon. Evening baseball, 6:40 in Philadelphia. Citizens Bank Park series openers across the board. Nats opening up at the Phillies. Aaron Nola against what appears to be Trevor Williams, making his first start of the year. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm good to take the Phillies in this spot here. I know it's Nola and blah, 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 but guess what? There's a spark. You know, you and I were texting earlier today about the Louis Arise trade, and it's like, hey, you take a consistent hitter, kind of really hasn't blown anybody away this year. Maybe that's part of the reason why he becomes a movable piece here. But for me, it just came down to a situation looking at this game and saying, with that trade specifically, saying you can't be counting on guys. You got some great pieces out there, Bohm and Turner, and of course we know Schwarber and Harper, but you need to have somebody that's on the upper echelon of that consistency. You can't be counting on those guys to spark the fire. And Kyle Schwarber, yes. Bryce Harper, yes. Now Louis Arise, yes. And I think that creates a lot of bump and enthusiasm here. This Phillies team's just 28-27 at home. You do make an absolute ton of money on the Nationals on the road here. But for me today, I got to be Phillies as the play. -1. I'll take the -1 for PHL.
Yeah, Mike, we're opening up a new week. It's August. This is my birthday month. We got a lot of high energy disagreement to start, but we will have some bangers down low. I got Washington here at the plus, and you're kind of talking me into it a little bit, saying Washington series opener is very good. You talk about this actual matchup.
No, not series openers, not good.
Okay, well, whatever it was, I liked what I heard, and I'm going to jump off it. But In terms of series against the Phillies this year, this is the third series of the year, actually. They are 2-0 in the series openers against Philadelphia within the division. And I think this is ultimately where you want to buy low on Washington. They've lost 5 in a row. That's only the second time this year they've lost 5 straight games. They have not gotten to a 6-game losing streak. So the market cap for me is 5. You go back to a couple of the previous games over the weekend, it just felt like the Braves kind of outliered them a little bit. A lot of solo home runs against Foster Griffin, Kate Cavalli yesterday, this, and that. And you talk about the Phillies here. You acquire Luis Arraez. I love the move, Mike. We'll talk about that as we go. But this is not where Aaron Nola performs well at home. He's 0-6 in his last 6 home games. Excuse me, he's 0-6 in his last 6 games overall. 3-7 at home. Home ERA, 6.7. Absolutely terrible. He's better on the road. You insert this pitcher, Trevor Williams. This is his first start of the year. You guys probably remember this guy from last year. He's a journeyman in his mid-30s, kid from California. But he actually has performed reasonably well in his recent history in his career on the road. And final point on this, Philadelphia is coming home here off a couple authoritative shutout wins the last 2 days at the Orioles. That was Christopher Sanchez. It was Zach Wheeler. It was actually my top play of the day yesterday with the Phillies. The only other time this year in the second half of the season, Philadelphia started a homestand. Of course, we are early in the second half. It was a game started at home by Aaron Nola. He was favored right in this line range, -155 against the New York Mets, also on a weeknight, and did take a 4-1 loss. I think it's a scrappy Nat spot, Mike. We do like Luis Arraez here, the acquisition. You know, you posted on X before. You said Red October coming. Maybe it's a little Red Road Nats Monday night in Philly. But any closing comments or keep it moving?
I kind of like the over in this game as well. You know, I think I'm seeing Alvarez as well as the opener for the Nationals here, and you know, the Nationals in series openers, they do tend to hit the over. And so now you put that over out there with Nola. I could see some runs in this team. I could see this game. I could see that, again, the spark for Philly. And that's where you want to get out of the way, especially if you're a shitbag 1-6 team in your last 7. You can't put enough plus money behind that side of things. So let's see what happens. That should be a fun one. 640. Let's see what the new look Phillies look like. I did see lots of moving parts for them Phillies. They're moving players all around. I just think it's going to be a big spark. You can't measure the spark until you look back and say, okay, that was an easy win.
Yeah, I mean, I love Luis Arraez. You and I were kind of discussing this guy moves around every year. You were making a couple of jokes. He said he doesn't shower. Luis, we're not going to throw that shade at you here on the show, but interesting for me, and I do want to mention this, Mike. I was thinking about this before, but Luis Arraez kind of reminds me of Don Mattingly, and I think it's actually maybe a manager talking to the GM up top and saying, "Listen, this is my guy." I mean, they're both lefty hitters. They both hit for average. Donnie Baseball was not hitting a bunch of home runs for the Yankees in the '90s. Luis Arraez is a throwback player. And if you guys actually go look at some game tape of Don Mattingly playing for the Yankees, very similar batting stance. Kind of just relaxed on the backside and just really a slap hitter. Really hits to all fields. So I think Donnie Baseball, something going on here. I think he might have had something to do with this trade. I really like the trade for the Phillies. Just don't like him tonight. But we will see. And, Mike, I'm sure you'll talk some trash to me later if the Phillies get the job done. Keeping it moving down the line, game 2 of this evening's card. We are going to New York City. Cardinals at Yankees. Game 1 of this series, 1-of-1 series interleague play. These teams do not play frequently, but when the Yankees face the Cardinals in recent history, they have dominated. You get Cam Schlittler on the bump tonight against McGreevy, Mike. Schlittler at home. Are you going to buy this guy tonight?
I'm going to buy the over in this game today. I talked a little bit last week about some unders and, put them juice balls away here, but just looking at this lineup in this process here, Schlittler, the Yankees, the wind blowing out, the Cardinals stink. I don't want to lay $2 on anybody. But I think at a 7.5 or an 8 that we do have the likelihood to see some runs out here. Now, Schlittler, look, he's coming off a loss, but he does have himself, 12 straight wins before that. So the formula says this is a Schlittler spot, but look, Mondays, big favorites, overs 33, 9, and 2 this season. They've won 7 in a row. I think you take an 8. Take an 8, and you can get an 8 at plus 105. I think that's a good looking spot.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes over, it's going to be because this guy McGreevy seems to have lost his way. You go back through recent history, the guys looked horrible, and it's been maybe situational. I'm not entirely sure. Home games, we've talked about this one particular game, it seems like about 5 times. The Arizona rescheduled game where he did get crushed against the Diamondbacks on a Thursday, going back about a week and a half. But last home start against the Cubs, he looked really absolutely terrible, giving up, I believe, 7 or 8 earned runs. Cam Schlittler's going to shove. This guy is 1A plus. I mean, you talk about a guy that came out of nowhere. We've talked about some of these other guys like Trey Savage. Schlittler is Cy Young candidate number 1 in the American League, and he is not going to underperform. He's coming off a road loss against the White Sox, not because he pitched poorly, however, 0 earned runs. This guy has been dominant at home this year against the National League. I think a reasonable corollary numerically. Only time facing a team from the National League Central, it was the Reds and Rhett Lauder. He did win the game 5-0. Pitched absolutely great in the game. 13 strikeouts, 0 walks. You talk about a showcase to this guy's insane level of control. And the Yankees did cover the run line. But the best look in this game for me would be the Yankees run line. And, Mike, I think it correlates to your total as well. I think the Yankees could tee off against McGreevy. And I do think Schlittler will be in total control. Very polarized type of blowout environment here tonight. Haven't gotten there yet, but our guy in the chat says, Yanks run line. Smart, man, on a Monday. I think it's a nice look. Mike likes the over officially. I'm still working on the Yankees side, but do not look to the Cardinals in this one, guys. Yankees are nothing. Over, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 7:40 in Milwaukee, 6:40 local, I believe. Pirates Brewers opening up a divisional series to start the week here, American Family Field. Bubba Chandler at Brandon Sproat. Mike, I was looking at this one before. The Pirates may be actually falling apart, as you suggested they would about a month and a half ago. Brewers coming home off a really nasty-looking loss yesterday with Mizorowski on the bump out west. Tough game for me. What do you think?
You'd hate to see these big ace pitchers go out there and blow it, right? I mean, goodness gracious, great balls of blowing it there. I'll take the Brewers in this spot for a couple of reasons. One, they're coming off a shutout. I don't give a shit about travel or not. They're not coming back from San Francisco. We know that's a tricky little spot, but and look, frankly, they were 3-1 going into that game. So they knew they were coming back home after that. They got divisional matchups on deck. It's easy to look past that Angels. But now the Angels on top of that are talking about taking Mike Trout to the Phillies. I would take everything back. Every year it seems like he becomes a talking piece for the Phillies, and then he just never pulls the trigger. But as far as this game's concerned, though, I'm good to Sprout. I'm Sprout, whatever. When it comes down to it, him versus Bubba Chandler, I think it's a great battle. I think it's a good-looking under. But then the book's pegging 8.5 on it. So now it's like, all right, well, what are they saying here? Is this going to see some runs? And if we are, I think it goes to the Milwaukee Brewers side of things. Here's a couple of stats that I looked at when it comes to, specifically, fading the Pirates. If they're a dog in game 1 of a series, you guys heard me say it all season long. 1 versus 1. Your one's not as good as our one, and that's exactly the case. You're 47-10 in the last 5 years. You're 5-0. You're 8-2 in the last 10 this season. Those are some big numbers for a team that's coming off the shutout on top of it, especially if the Brewers with their current general manager come off a loss. They're a bounce back team, man. Over the last 3 seasons, they've won almost 60% of the games off a loss. So given the form of this team and a home team, off a loss in a divisional opener, that's specific to this divisional look ahead. Fuck this Angels spot that I was talking about. 33-5, Shark. 33-5, the home team off a loss in a divisional opener. That's an 87% win rate out there. Give me the Brewers, -140.
Yeah, that's great data there. That's better data than I have for this game. This is a tough game for me. I'm looking at both sides in this game, kind of sensing fatigue. We saw the Pirates get shelled yesterday at Chase Burns. Sunday afternoon, you get back-to-back series road in the division. I think there's attrition there, and it's right around the trade deadline as well. There's a little bit of emotional fatigue for these teams, just hearing names bounce around in the media for like 3 or 4 days. Ultimately, you look at the Brewers, as you said, coming home here from the Angels. Mizorowski gave up a 2-run shot, took a loss yesterday. Theoretical bounce back as well. Just one point on the pitching matchup. Both pitchers have faced this team in recent history. Neither pitcher pitched very well. Sproat had a road game at Pittsburgh on Saturday, July 11th. 83 pitches. in only 3 innings. Somehow only gave up 2 earned runs. I don't know how the hell he had 83 pitches in 3 innings, and he only had 2 hits and 2 walks. He must have been averaging about 10 pitches per batter in that game. What a ridiculous case of labor there. And a similar situation for Chandler. Did catch a win against Milwaukee in that game. Oh, it was actually a heads-up matchup, excuse me. Or no, it wasn't. What am I talking about? It was a doubleheader. It was a doubleheader that day on the 11th. They're throwing us a lot of curveballs here, Mike. We had a doubleheader that day, and I'm trying to decipher this live on the show. The other game of that window, also on Saturday, July 11th, Chandler, 5 hits, 3 walks in 4 2/3, also kept it down, but had 97 pitches. Bottom line, a lot of labor in this game. I could see an over, Mike. I think the Brewers are a sharp side here. Our guys in the chat saying everything, actually. Nine Legacy likes the Pirates for some good reasons. Our guy likes the over. Stop Geo says Brewers have won 14 out of 15 versus NL Central opponents with a losing record. Wow, a lot of great data. Chat, you guys dropping some bombs here on this beautiful Monday. But Mike likes the Brewers. I think you could see runs in this game. I don't see either pitcher performing. A lot of stuff going on, and let's keep it moving. Next game.
Got some breaking news here, Shark.
Sure.
Some breaking news. Speaking of those pesky little Angels, one Joe Adell will find himself moving to the Cleveland Guardians here. Haven't seen the rest of the details, but I just literally got the notification. Joey Adell, big slugger, goes to the Cleveland Guardians as they try to bolster themselves in the AL Central race.
Yeah, I like it. And, as you said, is Trout going to end up with the Phillies? Man, I'd love to see that. Mike, wouldn't you love to see that?
I would, but they say that this is what pisses me off about this guy. I posted a tweet yesterday, and then I read that he might come out there, so I took it down. And the tweet was, this guy's a fucking pussy. And the reason that he's comfortable staying in, and everyone's like, oh, he's not chasing ring. No, it's because he's a fucking pussy. And the problem with this guy is you're not a big alpha dog. You're a little beta bitch, dude. And you're not willing to go out there and take the scrutiny of a $150 million contract playing in a city like Philadelphia or, New York City or any of the big bright light cities and big towns out there, because I can go stay in Los Angeles and everyone loves the Dodgers. I'm just going to kind of hide in the shadows as the little baby bitch. And that's what Mike Trout is.
Yeah, truthfully, I've been disappointed by what his career has become, if I'm going to be honest as well. I mean, the guy is just such a generational talent to just sit out there and never make the playoffs. I mean, it's a disaster. When we look back on this, and we're already talking about it now because it is almost the end of this guy's window as it is, it's a failed career. I mean, he's put up some good stats. He's never done anything in the playoffs. You hate to see that, really, for a guy like this. But, Mike, I do think the mental makeup is real in terms of the lack of fire, because he could have forced a trade at any point in this window, particularly after Ohtani left the Angels, and they kind of were left for dead with Rendon getting injured as well. Like, he knew the Angels were going nowhere 4 years ago and decided to stay anyway. So, Mike Trout, I don't know. If we ran into him at a Sixers game with LeBron dunking on some people, he'd probably tell us to shut the hell up. But he had his chance. He has his chance now. Mike Trout, please go to the Phillies. Show us some real baseball, man. Come on.
Let me take back all the bad things I said about him. I mean, I'll eat my own words here. JP says Anaheim's not in Los Angeles. JP's, I got news for you, but everybody but Los Angeles feel that the Angels are in Los Angeles. LA doesn't stand for Anaheim. It stands for Los Angeles. Los Angeles Angels. LA Angels. For everybody but you guys in LA.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the geography of LA, but it's boroughs, right? Does that mean that the White Sox don't play in Chicago because they're on the South Side, or the Yankees don't play in New York City because they play in the Bronx? I don't know. I mean, the Mets are out in Queens. Does anybody play in New York? No, there's no Manhattan teams, right? So I don't know.
I'll tell you what. Here's a true story. We're only 4 days away from the first Thursday football of the season. There's only one team that actually plays NFL football in New York. Did you know that?
Buffalo Bills.
That's right. We got 3 New York teams in the NFL, but there's 2 of them are imposters. Kind of like LeBron James being a Philadelphian, right? Guy's going to commute in from New York City. Is the script written? Is this Kobe Bryant-esque?
I guess JP's giving us a little education on the geography. It's not even in LA County. All right, fair enough. Having a little fun on a Monday. Let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 8 o'clock in Texas, Globe Life Field. Another interleague series where we don't really have a lot of data, not a lot of rivalry, that's for sure. Giants at Rangers. Logan Webb. It looked like Cal Quantrill was going to be on the bump as of about an hour ago. Now I'm seeing undecided. You got to check your resources on this one. Yeah, even most of the sports books do have undecided here, Mike. I had to look for Cal Quantrill in this one. Now maybe not, but what do you think about this game?
How about this, guys? Breaking news. The Mariners are going to acquire Taylor Ward from the Orioles. Going to call these out as the show goes on today because they are relevant, I think, as we're looking at the cap here. But that means Baltimore will be down some bats with a struggling offense already. That means there's going to be some transition for the Mariners today as well. I love the Texas Rangers, though, in this spot today. Love them. I've got two teams written down. One of them is the Texas Rangers. And I just think this is a terrific price. They came off a tough series against the Rockets. The NBA's around the corner too. Tough series against the Astros, but look, you're going to give me a minus 116. You know, you got reverse movement here. Well, not really reverse, but you got some bigger money coming, almost 50-50 cash on the San Francisco Giants. And the line's gone from plus 102 to plus 113. So, yeah, I don't want, for me, it comes down to two things. Bats. Well, we know the bats and San Francisco Giants wear hats. They're not hot. We know that also the bullpen's, I think, a stronger advantage for the Rangers as well. So minus 116 for the Texas Rangers for me. Fair price, great opportunity. One of the two spots I literally have circled for the day.
I agree. Great spot. I mean, really top quality here. And, I think this is really looking at just what these teams are as of today. When you see the Giants trade Luis Arraez, they are absolutely punting this season. And I was on here last week talking about the managerial situation. This guy, Tony Vitello, coming over from Tennessee Volunteers, SEC baseball, not the translation. And I kind of gave a speech on it last week about how it doesn't work in any sport, college coach going to the pros. This team is terrible. They don't hit. They just got rid of their best hitter for average. Not only that, you look at where these teams are coming from. San Francisco just played a real tough divisional series over the weekend against the Padres. On the road, lost 2 straight games by 1 run. Now you go interleague off of that. This is a huge letdown. And San Francisco is terrible on the road. They're 21-38. And Mike, you said it. Texas coming in here off a sweep at Houston. Interesting, I was talking about the Nationals losing 5 in a row being a bye. Texas has lost 5 in a row. And Texas this year has not lost 6 in a row either. This is their market cap point. And you go through just the data here for Texas, it really is kind of the polar opposite of what we're talking about with San Francisco tonight. They're a great home team. They're 28-25. They're good at home against the National League. And final point on this, San Francisco, you talk about their futility on the road and their inability to perform. They have been awful against the American League. 4-11 road AL games. Last series, they got swept Monday, July 20th through Wednesday, July 22nd at the Kansas City Royals. Guys, we usually don't make handicaps like this to kind of cross-reference teams that don't necessarily have a ton to do with each other. But if San Francisco got swept at the Royals, I think the Texas Rangers can turn up, Mike. And I'll throw it back to you just for 1 second. I want to talk about this as well. Texas, for all of their struggles, is very much alive in the playoff picture too, right? I mean, look at the West. They're right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Seattle certainly is making it a lot more interesting than it should be. But again, Seattle's looking to get some bats. Seattle thinks this division's wide. Was it like 1 game or 2 games? It can't even be 2 games. It's tight. This is a tight race, man. The AL is still wide open. And this division, absolutely, 2 of these teams should be able to make the postseason.
Yeah, you talk about a team that's lost 5 in a row that's under 500. They're playing for October, as crazy as it seems. This kind of reminds me of like NFC South football, or where like the Bucks and the Falcons and all these teams are all under 500 and nobody's paying attention. They're competing for the playoffs. So this is ready to go baseball for Texas tonight, and they're not gutting their team. They are ready to go. So Texas elite spot, Mike. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, Big Dog Baseball in Chicago tonight at Wrigley. Dodgers traveling to the Cubs, 2nd series of the year. They did play early season in Los Angeles. The Dodgers did take 2 of 3. Now you get Justin Robleski on the bump at Matthew Boyd, Mike. Big series here. What's going on here?
Probably Robleski's last game as a starter. You know, the Dodgers probably win this series. They're not going to win this game, but they probably win this series. And a lot of it has to, I mean, what a perfect situation. They got Skubal, and everyone's expecting Skubal to start on Tuesday. And that's exactly when he was supposed to start in the rotation in the first place with Detroit. So no adjusted or additional time. It's just a matter of throw my shit in a box and send it out to Los Angeles. Matter of fact, I bet you he doesn't even move. I bet you he doesn't even, because if we go on strike next year, what are these dudes going to do? They're going to be partying it up, living off all that money that's been deferred from the LA Dodgers. So why not? You know, right now you got 75% of the bets and 81% of the cash coming in on the Dodgers. It's a foregone conclusion, apparently, by Joe Public that they're going to go out there and kick the shit out of them. And I disagree. Part of the reason I disagree, if you look at it, is Matty Boyd on the bump, right? And that's a big factor. You know, when you want to look at some of the numbers here, 14-0 at home if he went out there and mowed everybody down the previous game, or at least had less than 90 pitches. So I think it's a tricky, trappy little spot there. The public trap of the day, the LA Dodgers out there. I think you take the Cubbies, and I'm going to take a little look and see what Boyd to get the win looks like here. That's a little ballsy, but you know what I've kind of recognized here? First of all, we do have that Sunday night baseball effect, and I know fade the teams off. I got all that, but dude, talk about the Yankees lineup being a little disappointing right now. A lot of disappointment out of guys like Mookie Betts. I had his total bases last night. Fucking guy, only guy to strike out on the team. Disappointment and then some. So I'm going to take the Cubs.
Mike, I got two blue hats here. They're both beautiful, aren't they? Look at this. Beautiful print. They've done some business. I got this one. I don't know what's going on here, guys. The buy hat is engaged, Mike. Public trap, I don't know. Public, I see you guys tonight. This is fantastic data, in my opinion. You got matchup 2 here for Robleski this year. You talk about him maybe getting bumped out of the rotation. Sad for him because he's been playing elite baseball. He faced off against the Cubs in that series in April. It was Sunday afternoon, 4:26. It was actually the last time these teams played. He was a small underdog in the game to Shota Imanaga. Absolute ace quality win, 6-0, 0 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. Now you go favorite road. This guy is 5-0 road outside of the division off a previous home start. He is unhittable in this spot. Average win by 7.6 runs per game. And you look at Matthew Boyd. Boyd does look good. He got hurt. He came back. He's looked great. But last year, Boyd did face the Dodgers once. He was absolutely terrible in the game. 10 hits against, 2 home runs. Teoscar Hernandez got him, as did Andy Paez. 6 runs in the game. And he was favored in that spot too, moving across the aisle here to the Dodgers on the road. Final point on this. You talk about some really interesting, fun data here. I was looking at Robleski. Why does he perform so well in these spots? Well, he was born in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. He's a hometown product. He'll be ready to go. He's going to shove here tonight. And Mike, I was looking before, and I wasn't expecting to find this. Guess what Justin Robleski's nickname is?
The Bum?
It's the Shark.
Oh, whoa.
Pedro Martinez actually called him the Shark, apparently, on the Fox broadcast. And if you guys search Google, it says Justin Robleski. His nickname is the Shark, and he's got all sorts of stuff. He's fired up on it. So from Shark to Shark, Robleski, get it done tonight on the road. Mike, any final points or keep it moving?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in your thoughts here because we've talked about this a couple times. I've kind of followed it back up and thrown the ball back to your court here. And frankly, I think I'm batting pretty close to 1,000 with it. Headspace, the mental headspace for this dude. What do you think it looks like for Robleski knowing you're a bum and you're getting sent to the bullpen? It's not this is your last start. And it could be your last start probably, forever. His last game, he gave up 5 earned runs. 1 earned one. He's just not very good. I mean, shit. He went, I guess he's been eating up innings, which makes him a good reliever, right? Like a stopgap for the bullpen. You got a guy that can probably go out there and take 3 innings, but what's his ego and his pride look like when you know that there was nothing you could do? Do you have a little anger? Do you have a little fuck you in you, or what's going on here? Does he go out there and perform and want to show everybody that he still has the goods?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'll be very pissed off, if I'm being honest, but in a good way, not like I'm laying down. And I mean, as I said, he's just been great in this spot. 5-0 road outside of the division. If the first start, he's been situationally poor staying on the road and in the division. But if you get him in this spot, he's winning by 7.6 runs per game. And yeah, just the psychology. I think he's going to be fired up. I mean, Pedro Martinez doesn't call this guy the Shark unless he's got gamer written all over him. Pedro Martinez, you talk about one of the biggest gamers of our entire life in baseball. I mean, this guy threw at hitters no problem. He freaking threw Don Zimmer onto the ground. The guy was like 80 years old. He just literally trucked him onto the ground. So if Pedro's calling you the Shark, he knows something about this guy. And I think he'll be in control tonight. So
1 year, $790,000 contract.
A lot to prove. A lot to prove. I think just perpetually
mental implosion on the bump today.
Mike, just staying on this, we got time. We'll have a couple more games. The Dodgers have only been swept one time this year, and it was a home series, just like you just saw, to the Diamondbacks to close the first half of the season. They did get the All-Star break, but they did open up the second half on the road, coming off that home sweep, and they did beat the Yankees on the road 2-1. So they have bounced back off a sweep.
Who was pitching in that game?
It was it's a good question, but it was not Robleski. It was who was it? It was one of their lesser pitchers, I think.
I don't know. I always like when I throw a stat out there and people are like, "Well, who was it? This was it? This circumstance?" Like, all right.
Oh, it was Sasaki. It was Sasaki at Cole.
Sasaki-san.
Yeah, Sasaki at Cole. But this kind of reminds me of the Eric Lauer takes, actually, the minus 120s that the Dodgers have covered on the road. That all being said, great conversation, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 8:10 in Houston tonight. Astros Blue Jays, game one of this series. Shane Bieber against Christian Javier. Mike, I was looking at this before. Shane Bieber, I mean, this guy is either like perfect game quality or he can't pitch. I couldn't figure this game out. What do you think?
Dude, his last start against the Nationals was absolutely, utterly disgusting. Couldn't even go. I mean, what do you got? 2 outs? I mean, it wasn't even that he was giving up like home runs or hits. He was just walking everybody. There's no control. You got no control on the bats, man. I don't like that the numbers come down for the Astros from minus 140 to minus 122, but I'm not going to take the Jays and Bieber. Bieber's a baby back bitch, and I'll take the first 5 with the Houston Astros. Why not? I think the pitching matchup with Javier, I don't like his numbers either, but come on. I mean, in recent form, he's been doing all right. And on top of that, Toronto's bats, dude, right now they're bottom 5 in pretty much every effective category measured by baseball. So I think Javier can come back and fire, and I think it's a good spot to take Houston. You're going to catch him at a little pricey at minus 127, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, see, this game is just incredibly difficult. I don't think Bieber pitches well in the game. The issue here is there potentially an outlierish result at final? Because he's coming in here in a unique sequence. He obviously came off the IL in June, so small window here of data. The second time this year he's had back-to-back road games. So you go back to the previous scenario, he was terrible in the first road game at Seattle. He had 7 earned runs in 4 innings. He stayed on the road, was not good at San Diego, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 3 walks. So inflated 2 earned runs, but he caught a 5-3 win against the Padres, and the Padres were laying minus 140 in the game, the same line structure. Now you get the same thing. Road start 1 at Washington, absolutely terrible, staying on the road. So if the pattern continues, what's going to happen? Bieber's not going to be very good. He's going to struggle. He's going to fight through it to a degree, get into maybe the 4th or the 5th inning, and then something crazy is going to happen late, and the Blue Jays are going to pull it out. And Mike, let's just talk about the trade deadline here for a second with the Blue Jays. So you trade Kevin Gausman. So we think they're punting, and then all of a sudden this morning they acquire Jose Soriano. Mm-hmm. So what the hell is that about? What do you think?
Gausman's a piece of shit. Fact.
Okay.
I've been saying that. So many people would argue with, like, I've been saying it for a long time, and it's not just, it's a lot of reasons why, I don't like the way he throws. There's a lot of things I don't like about his process and performance. I think I got snuck one here where it was like an outlier where he actually played pretty well because all the numbers, all the trends for this dude, like the 3 years before that were all fades. And we're back to it this year and last year. Fade spots out there. So, I just think this guy is who he, like I said it before, we've never seen a zebra change its stripes here. And that's what Gausman is. So the Blue Jays recognize, like, let's get rid of this pile. Maybe he's a guy that doesn't shower. Comes in the locker room, he's got a little stink to him, right? Maybe he was on the sauce last night. So now he's coming in, he's not prepared. He's got a little odor going on out there. Nobody wants to sit next to him in the clubhouse. Then he's got to go and sit there on the bench in the bullpen or the benches when the offense goes up. Maybe he's just a bad guy. Maybe he's cancerous in the locker room. I don't know, but I'll say this. He at least gave up 2 earned runs and didn't give up more than 4 hits his previous game. Shane Bieber is 10-0. So there is some merit to this Toronto Blue Jay spot. I just think this team isn't done. They're not happy with their performance, and they felt like they could maximize the pieces they get. They're probably, to me, the problem for the Blue Jays. This is making a move to make a move, Shark. This is the epitome of making a move to make a move. We saw this with the Mets a year ago with the Juan Soto stuff and some of the trade moves that they made there. You're selling Gausman at probably a pretty close to an all-time low. And you're buying Soriano kind of pretty close to an all-time high, right? So you lost value in Gausman. You overpriced. You overpay. It's like these guys that are buying, houses and they're paying 25% more than what the market value is. It's going to take you years to get that value back in that home. And there goes your refi. There goes your future to some degree. And that's what I think happens for the Blue Jays. The beginning of the end for them boys.
Yeah, see, this is where I was confused this morning when I saw this all go down. Because when I saw them trade Gausman, I thought they were just punting. They said, you know what, we made our run last year. We lost in Game 7. We got nothing left. Vladdy Guerrero's dead. The manager's out the door, this, and that. But then all of a sudden they acquire Jose Soriano. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Why? I don't know. Like, are they saying, as you said, we don't like Gausman, but we're not giving up? And I'm looking at the standings. They're only 4.5 back of the wild card in this ridiculous American League where there's about 10 teams in the wild card race. So just my candid reaction in the last 3 hours was they were giving up, punting, and then all of a sudden they're not punting, which would actually give even more credential to the fact that Bieber will bounce back. He'll somehow fight through the chaos of his road just brutality, and they will win this game. So I think the Blue Jays could actually steal this game, but great conversation nonetheless, because you rarely ever see a team trade a high-level pitcher who's done reasonably well for them and then acquire a high-level pitcher in the same 36-hour window. It just made no sense to me. But if I'm making any sense of it, I think maybe they're not punting. So I think
here's what I think happened. So the news on Gausman was out there for about 10 days or so. Everybody knew for the last 10 days that they were looking to shop this guy. So they got a taker, right? And they were like, fuck, somebody wants this piece of shit. Let's give it to him. Right. And so they're excited. And that happens to be the Cubs. And we'll talk about that in a moment here. But, and I think his relationship for the Cubs is we'll see what they do, but middle reliever, maybe. I mean, they're number one. Anyhow, you look at what happened here and who's in front of them. The Tigers, the Orioles, and the Mariners. Well, all 3 of those teams from a wild card perspective are selling right now. Detroit just moved off on Skubal and Mize, so they got nothing left. Their old Mother Hubbard would not shit in the cupboard. The Orioles are trading off guys like Taylor Ward. They're saying we don't have a chance in the AL East this year. Then you got the Mariners, Texas Rangers. So they're looking at it saying we already had a taker, but now we can go out there and pick up this piece as well. Maybe we do have a shot to make a wild card. So yeah, you're right. I don't know that they punt. And then on the other side of things with the Cubs, why you would go and take on a Gausman here? The only thing I could look at from this team's perspective is, they're situated pretty when it comes to the National League. And listen, extra pieces. You only need the guy to go a couple 2-inning spots out there for you to, hope that the wind's blowing in and he doesn't go out drinking and stinking the night before. Weird stuff in baseball right now.
Very, very weird, because I can't recall in a long time a team that sent off a pitcher of that quality and then just immediately acquired another high quality pitcher. Like it doesn't make any sense. But Mike, what makes sense? We got a nice video.
Appreciate everybody that takes the time to smash that thumbs up button for us. You guys, appreciate you being involved in what we're doing here. We had some technical difficulties, but the show must go on, and it's back on the track, Shark. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys haven't dropped a like on the video, I'll ask you one thing. Are you dejected, bored, lazy, or just couldn't give a crap about helping anybody out? Guys, you're not that. You're hanging out with us. We love you guys. Please drop a like on the video, and let's keep it moving. Two more games on the card here. Late night baseballs to a degree, not that late, 6:40 out in Colorado tonight. Rockies hosting the Rays. Talk about these one-off series, these interleague series that do not theoretically have much rivalry behind them. This is certainly one of them. Ian Seymour at Michael Lorenzen. Mike, the Rays just kind of got outclassed at home against the White Sox, and now they get to maybe take their anger out on the Rockies. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think you can get involved in the Rockies in this spot here. Man, I'll tell you, I'm going to look back on this season, and I was actually sitting there just pondering this yesterday. I was thinking to myself, what a weird year for baseball, right? Like the Sharps got early in the season, they got kind of busted up a little bit. The over stadiums like Coors happen to be under stadiums. We caught outliers in Vegas where they're putting up 25 runs. Just a weird situation, but then it made a smile appear on my face because I said, man, I've been nailing these unders with the Rockies, and I had one again yesterday. Today, though, I kind of want to take the over. Today, I'm kind of leaning to this spot here, but I think what I'll do is I'll take the Tampa Bay team total over. They're situationally in a position to go out there and knock the cover off the ball, and the games they're showing overs. There's a big trend here, 11-1 to the over trend for Tampa Bay today. So I like it. And I'm getting some plus money on it at 11.5. So I might try to take it down to 11. I haven't fully decided how I want to attack. I know it's a smaller card, so I'll probably get there, but I think maybe this over 11, this has to be a must play spot today, given that, like you said, they struggled a little bit, and they're going to go to Seymour again. So, listed pitcher would be Seymour, but it's Lorenzen. Shark. Come on. What do? We take overs when this guy's on the bump, and we're going to do it today. I mean, look, 6.5 is even money for the Tampa Bay team total over. I like it.
Yeah, honestly, I see a blowout coming in this game. I think the Rays are going to unload. And, truthfully, like I was trying to handicap the psychology of this, and I was saying, okay, so they just played a home stand, and they just got beat up by the White Sox. You get on a plane, you go to Colorado. Are you flat? One side of psychology would say they'd be flat. This is a really kind of a funky spot for them. But then I had to remind myself, it's baseball. They play every day. There's really no flat spots, generally speaking. I think this is going to be where they just really kind of unleash anger. And I think if there was any pitcher for the Rockies to allow that to happen, it would be Michael Lorenzen. This guy throws batting practice. He's been around baseball for over 10 years professionally in the major leagues. He's just a gas can. He wouldn't really be in the rotation for any other team, maybe other than the Royals. Not coincidentally, he pitched for the Royals before. He's a terrible pitcher. And Seymour's going to shove. Seymour's a very high-quality pitcher. You go through his stats. His only really reasonable corollary outside of the division on the road in the last month, Thursday, July 2nd at Kansas City, 5-2 win margin. And he was in total control. 1 earned run on only 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, 83 pitches. Could have definitely gone 7 or 8 innings in that game. So I think Seymour will be locked in. I think the Rays will not even need to try. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but I think the quality of opponent here is so weak and situationally weak with the pitcher that the Rays will just be able to have some fun out there. Monday night in Denver, it's the first Monday of August, Mike. We always talk about this beautiful ballpark, the mountains in the background. You can have fun. They're going to tee off for 12 runs. Mike, I love that team total over as well. I think they just clean them up. So Rays run line, team total over. Our guy says Rays 15 wins in a row in night games versus sub 500 opponents. NL West. It makes sense. And, we were just nailing the Rockies over the weekend, cleaning up the Royals. So you get a nice little sell high on the Rockies here off a winning streak as well. Great spot. Take the run line, guys. And take the team total over, I think, Mike, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And let's cash. Final game on the card, 9:40 in Phoenix. Divisional baseball here. Game 1, Padres, Diamondbacks, NL West. Michael King at Brandon Pfaadt. Interesting dynamic here. Diamondbacks off a shutout loss yesterday at Cleveland. Padres off the aforementioned labor type series against the Giants, back to back in the division. Mike, what's going on here?
I think this is a sneaky under. So I like some overs today on the card. So, it's not like I'm just going to go flag some totals and just continue to take unders here. But you look at the pieces with the Padres and some of the movement that's going on out there. And, man, it's just, you talk about the long road trip coming back home on the other side of things here. I'd have to take a shot with the Padres and Michael King not getting involved, especially the Padres against righties. They've won the last 8 in a row. So maybe a Padres first 5 is a good look at, especially when you got the Diamondbacks in game 1 of a series. We know you fade them. You win at 65% the last couple of seasons. So lots of stuff going on there for these guys here, but goodness gracious, great balls of fire here, right? The home team coming back after a shutout on the road, 142-66, man. That is historical excellence in baseball, 69% winning rate for that home team. I just think this is a tighter game. I think we see ourselves in a lower scoring. Fott at home is 11-2 in this position. So collectively, I think we see these two pitchers go out there and do enough to keep this game under the total.
Yeah, when I was looking at this before, I noticed significant steam here to the Diamondbacks. Opening number here, looking at it now, -112 Padres. We're already up to -120 Diamondbacks. Big steam. And when I was handicapping this before, I found some great stuff. We're going to give you guys the Diamondbacks. I think the Diamondbacks win this game. This is fantastic data, guys. Brandon Pfaadt, for whatever reason, kind of fizzled out back in April, May. They put him in the bullpen. I think he might have been on the IL for a period as well. He has absolutely locked back into the guy that you saw in the World Series a couple of years ago. He's 5-0 in July, only 6 earned runs in 28 2/3 innings pitched. That included a Monday night, key point, Monday night win at San Diego on July 6th, 8-0. He was in complete control. 0 earned runs, 6 Ks in 5 innings, only 72 pitches. The guy could have probably thrown a complete game if they had given him that rope. Not only that, Michael King is underperforming on the road. He's 3-6 road. He's 0-5 last 5. And he did beat Arizona in that same series 10-4. Here's the point on the line. San Diego was favored -160 in the game. They won by 6 runs. So now this moves 80 points against them. And it's for good reason. Mike, you're talking about this travel for the Diamondbacks. They're coming off a 10-game road trip. 4 cities, including that elusive rescheduled game in St. Louis a week ago Thursday. My initial thought was terrible travel. I started to look at their schedule. The Diamondbacks this year are 6-0 at home in game 1 off of a 6+ game road trip. It defies logic. The harder the travel, the longer the travel, the better the Diamondbacks perform coming home off that trip. This is where they will be totally locked in. And as we said, the Padres just took care of the Giants in the division. Back-to-back series in the division. They barely beat the Giants. The Giants are terrible. The Padres are not very good. They're selling off Mason Miller probably this afternoon. King will struggle. And the Diamondbacks do have a far better run differential in this spot. Absolutely final point on this. This has playoff implication, guys. These teams are right next to each other in the wild card race and in the division out west. This is where Arizona needs games, and they are 31-22 at home, and the Padres are 3 under on the road. It's really kind of, as I said, logic defying. Teams don't usually come home off long trips and perform great. The Diamondbacks do. Take the Diamondbacks and let's cash. Mike, any more comments or going to best bets?
Let's keep her going to best bets, baby. Happy Monday, everybody out there. Going to get you guys some of the best plays to make them bookies pay. Get my vibe on, man. Let's go. Gets me in a good train of thought. You want to be in a positive frame of mind when you're delivering best bets, Shark, here. The Brewers -140, the Texas Rangers -116, the Cubs +113, and Tampa Bay team total over 6.5.
All right, we're going with did you give them the Rangers?
Yes.
Okay, that's a collab. Going with the Rays run line, -110. Going with the Diamondbacks, -108. And did I have anything else that I really like? I like the Dodgers. I didn't want to give contrary plays on that. We'll go with the Nationals. I like the Nationals to get the dub. They're +150. Great value on the number, too.
How about we go Yankees over 8?
Sounds good.
How about we go? Can I get you on the under in that San Diego Arizona game?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think Fat will be in total control of that game.
And then take the
Rays team total over.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, beautiful.
There it is. Yankees over 8, San Diego under 9, Tampa Bay team total over 6.5. You guys, appreciate everybody that was patient with us today. Learning on the fly with some of these technological tools that we have to try to make it better for everybody. So we'll be back to do it again tomorrow, though, 12 p.m. You guys know the deal. Best damn show on baseball, Shark. Tell them what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. We were dealing with some tech issues before the show, guys. Trying to improve the product, but sometimes trying to improve it has a little bit of snag in the process. But great show, guys, and we appreciate you guys in the chat. Mike, a pleasure, as always. Looking at the card for tomorrow, we got some big stuff. Going to be really interesting. Some really big series tomorrow, guys.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.